Henry was a song leader. After he sang every Tuesday, he had a story for us. So rather than not have a story, Henry, go ahead and have one. But Henry used to get his stories on Sunday afternoon at the golf course with the Crooms brothers. Y'all remember the Crooms brothers? They were full of them. And but it seems that this man down in Jessup, his wife had died about a year before, and he decided to look around a little bit. And he knew this lady down the road a little way. She was a widow. Her husband had been gone for a while. So he called her. He said, I wonder if you'd like to go out and get a bite to eat and go to the picture show. And she said she would. So he went and picked her up, and they went out and got a bite to eat. And they went to the picture show, and they came back. He walked up the doorsteps like we used to do back then. He got there, her just took over, and he couldn't help himself. He grabbed that lady, and he put a kiss in her like you wouldn't believe. When she got her breath, she said, "Man, how'd you learn to kiss like that?" He said, "Siphon gas." Since y'all like that one so well, I'll tell you another one. But it seems this young man all his life wanted to be a doctor like his daddy. So went off and graduated from Medical College of Georgia, came back and went to practice with his daddy, or stayed in the hometown. So back in those days, the doctor made house calls. So it came time for house calls. He said, "Son, why don't you go with me? We're going to make some house calls. You just watch what I do so you can learn how to doctor on these people." Because Augusta said they don't do things like do that in South Georgia. Said, "You just watch me and do what I do." So they went there. This man was in the bed. He was so sick he couldn't stand it. He said, "Well, I'm going to give you a prescription, but you've got to quit drinking. So you're going to drink so much it's going to kill you. You got to quit." So I got in the car. The young doctor said, "Dad, how'd you come with a diagnosis like that?" He said, "I saw beer cans in the trash can." Went to the next house, and there was a lady in bed, and he went and examined her. He said, "Well, if you don't quit smoking," he said, "that smoking's going to kill you. So I'm going to give you a prescription here. It don't help you. You just quit that smoking." Went back, got in the car. Son said, "Dad, how'd you come up with that?" "Well, I saw those ashtrays full of cigarette butts." So the next house, he said, "Son, I want you to diagnose this one." So went in, the lady was in the bed, just sick as she could be, couldn't hardly move. And the young doctor asked her a few questions. So "I'm going to give you a prescription," but said, "Your big problem, you've got too much religion. You got to get rid of some of that religion you've got." So back I got in the car, and Daddy said, "Son, how in the world did you come up with a diagnosis like that?" I saw the preacher in the bed. It was in October of 1961 at Clyde Deacle, and a couple of Rotarians from Millen came to the office. Clyde and I were first cousins, and I'd lived for 18 months in Millen one time, and preacher could have got back to Metter, not throw up on Millen anyway, but we traced no followers. But Clyde, this man came, and I agreed to help me work the town, and we came up with 21 members. We were required to have 20 members to start the Charter Rotary Club. We had 21. I brought the list off, I left it in the car. But Henry Sparks was our first president. I was the first secretary. There's 4 living charter members now. Henry Sparks, Henry Deacle, Graham Daniel, and myself. All the other 21 are gone. But Doris Cromer's husband, Jimmy, he was a charter member. And when we first started Rotary, we met at different places. We started meeting at the community house, and Ms. Tillman was catering for us. And then she stopped, so Ms. Forehand came and started catering. And she stopped, so we moved to Willow Lake Country Club, the old club building out there. We met there one Tuesday. We carried our podium, we carried our flags, we carried our banner, carried everything we had out there, and it burned that night. We lost everything, had to start over. And Jimmy Cromer built this podium, it's been there now for 50-something, about 50 years. And in the beginning, we had our charter night on March the 15th, 1962, at the old cafeteria at school. And we had probably over 200 people there that night. Back in those years, when the youth club was chartered, they came from everywhere. We had the guests to come from the far north as the North Carolina line, and we had Clayton, Georgia, and we had people from the Florida line. And of course, our district from down to the state, and we had as far west as Macon. But as I say, we had a big crowd there that night, and they all brought gifts. They brought a podium, they brought the bell, they brought flags, they brought money. So we were in good shape to start with, we lost it all. But then through the years, we got a lot of it back. But we first met at the community house in Willow Lake, and then Metter Motel, and then Edfield, and then Western Steer, which is now Beverage. Rotary has been a real blessing to Metter. They still are. And when it comes to see a group like this, I realize how it's changed. And it's changed, I think, for the better. But in those days, we had to fine. If you missed a meeting, it was $1, $2, and 2 meetings. And on that, 4 meetings, you were out. And but we had a good time with Rotary. For a number of years, we carried a big group down to Jekyll Island for our Rotary convention, and we always stood out. When the scrapbook contest came along, Dwayne Tucker was here, and Dwayne's responsible for a lot of these scrapbooks. We won it every year, and then they changed the rules on us, but we wouldn't win it every year. But it looks like we still have a lot of fine scrapbooks. But in the beginning, Jimmy Cromer was our scrapbook chairman, but once he did, they got lost somewhere through the time. But it's just good to come and see the club doing as well as it is. And, hope we continue to grow and bless us this year like they have in the past. And I've been asked to sing a couple of songs.
Yeah.
Off the plate for me. Okay.
How many years perfect attendance did you have?
In 1990, on the Rotary Day, I had bypass surgery in Savannah. And up till that time, I had 30 years. And I never did start back on it again. And then they blessed me and made me honorary. I disagreed with some of the things they were doing, so they thought the best make me honorary, so I couldn't vote. I'm so glad. I'm glad that in my obituary, it can be in there that I was a Rotarian. And that on my obituary, on my tombstone, on what he carved on there, I told y'all I was sick. Again, thank you for allowing us to come, and I appreciate Cheryl coming. You know, Cheryl got her start with us. She worked in our office when she was in high school, and 75 cents an hour. And she's been such a blessing to this whole community. She means so much to our church. We don't mind losing the pastor, just don't lose Cheryl. It's been a pleasure. God bless the club, all of them.